In the modern age, noise is the background hum of existence. From the moment we wake, our lives are intertwined with a constant stream of information. News updates, social media notifications, work emails, and the unending buzz of digital connectivity create a cacophony that envelops our every waking hour. But what would happen if this noise was suddenly silenced? On an ordinary day at 9:17 a.m., the world experienced a phenomenon that seemed unthinkable. Every screen went black, every signal vanished, and the unrelenting noise of the digital world fell silent. The overload that preceded this silence was emblematic of the 21st century. We live in an era of information saturation, where the sheer volume of data consumed daily is staggering. Studies show that the average person spends over 11 hours interacting with media across various platforms. This constant engagement has reshaped our neural pathways, making us ever more reliant on external stimuli to feel connected, informed, or entertained. The digital age, with its promise of endless connection, has paradoxically fostered a profound disconnection from the self. The sudden silence was more than a loss of connectivity. It was a confrontation with an unfamiliar reality. Historically, silence has been a tool for introspection and self-discovery. Ancient philosophers, such as the Stoics, advocated for periods of silence to cultivate inner peace and resilience. They understood that by removing external distractions, one could confront and understand the internal chaos of the mind. This philosophy stands in stark contrast to our current dependence on digital noise for distraction and comfort. As the hours stretched on without the expected return of connectivity, confusion turned to panic. In the absence of digital engagement, anxiety levels spiked. The human brain, conditioned to receive constant rewards through dopamine hits from notifications and social interactions, began to crave the stimulation it was denied. This addiction to digital engagement is a modern phenomenon, deeply rooted in the brain's reward system. Dopamine, the neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and reward, is released not by the achievement itself, but by the anticipation of it. This is why the act of scrolling through social media or waiting for the next message can feel gratifying, despite lacking tangible outcomes. The silence forced a confrontation with the self. It stripped away the layers of performance and pretense built up in the digital world. Without the constant feedback loop of likes, comments, and shares, individuals faced a mirror reflecting their true selves. This moment of raw introspection was both liberating and terrifying. Who are we without the validation of others? What remains when the digital applause fades and we are left alone with our thoughts? For many, this silence revealed a void, a gap between who they are and who they aspire to be. This gap is often masked by the noise of daily life, filled with distractions that prevent us from addressing deeper questions of purpose and meaning. Existential philosophers have long posited that life lacks inherent meaning, and it is up to each individual to create their own. This creation of meaning requires introspection and deliberate action, processes that are often drowned out by the relentless noise of modern life. As the silence persisted, something began to shift. People started to notice the subtler aspects of existence: their own breathing, the rustle of leaves, the quiet ticking of a clock. These were reminders of a world that exists independently of digital screens, a world that has been overshadowed by the artificial glow of technology. In this newfound quiet, individuals began to reconnect with forgotten passions and dreams. Old hobbies were dusted off, conversations long avoided were initiated, and plans that had been shelved were reconsidered. This period of silence became a fertile ground for growth, much like a seed taking root in the darkness of the soil. The seed does not grow in the light of recognition, but in the pressure and stillness of its environment. Similarly, personal growth often occurs away from the spotlight, in moments of quiet reflection and deliberate practice. In this silence, discipline found a foothold. As the silence extended into days, the world outside the confines of digital screens began to reveal itself in ways that many had long forgotten. People found themselves engaging in conversations that were not punctuated by the buzz of incoming messages or the allure of social media updates. Communities gathered in parks, not for organized events, but to simply be present with one another. It was as if the absence of noise had awakened a latent human need for genuine connection. Historically, humans have always been social creatures. relying on face-to-face interactions to build and maintain relationships. The digital age, while expanding the breadth of communication, has often compromised its depth. The ancient Greeks, for instance, placed immense value on dialogue and debate, believing that truth and wisdom emerged from genuine human interaction. This principle resonated during the silent days as people rediscovered the power of direct communication. In the absence of digital distractions, creativity began to flourish. Artisans returned to their crafts, musicians composed new melodies, and writers filled pages with untold stories. This resurgence of creativity was reminiscent of eras such as the Renaissance, when humanity experienced a profound cultural rebirth following periods of stagnation. The Renaissance was marked by a renewed interest in art, science, and the humanities, driven by the belief that human potential could be limitless when freed from restrictive conventions. One notable figure during the silent days was a schoolteacher named Sarah. In a small town where the internet blackout hit hard, Sarah saw an opportunity. She began hosting nightly storytelling sessions in her backyard, inviting neighbors to share tales from their lives or recite passages from favorite books. These gatherings soon became the heart of the community, reminiscent of the oral traditions that have long been a cornerstone of human history. Oral storytelling has been a means of preserving culture, history, and values across generations, and in this moment, its power was rediscovered. As the world grappled with the silence, governments and organizations scrambled to understand and address the situation. Theories abounded, ranging from a massive solar storm disrupting all communications to sophisticated cyber attacks orchestrated by unknown entities. The United Nations convened an emergency summit, bringing together experts from various fields to diagnose the problem and seek a solution. This global collaboration highlighted the interconnectedness of modern society and the reliance on digital infrastructure, which, while a marvel of human ingenuity, also represented a significant vulnerability. In parallel, scientists took this opportunity to study the effects of silence on human psychology and behavior. Preliminary findings suggested that the abrupt cessation of digital stimuli led to a marked decrease in stress levels for many individuals. This was attributed to the reduction in information overload and the subsequent decline in decision fatigue, a phenomenon where the brain becomes overwhelmed by the constant need to process information and make choices. In this newfound quiet, people reported feeling more focused, present, and in tune with their surroundings. Meanwhile, the economic impact of the silence was profound. Businesses reliant on digital transactions and communication faced unprecedented challenges. However, some sectors experienced unexpected growth. Bookstores saw a surge in sales as people turned to physical books for entertainment and knowledge. Libraries became community hubs once more, filled with individuals eager to explore worlds beyond the screen. This shift was reminiscent of the early 20th century, when public libraries played a crucial role in education and community building. The silence also prompted a re-evaluation of priorities. Many began to question the relentless pursuit of productivity and success defined by external metrics. This introspection led to a broader societal dialogue about what constitutes a meaningful life. Philosophers and thinkers like Viktor Frankl, who survived the horrors of concentration camps, have long argued that meaning is derived from personal responsibility and the choices one makes in the face of adversity. His concept of logotherapy emphasizes that even in the direst circumstances, individuals can find purpose and meaning. As the silent days wore on, the world found itself at a crossroads. The absence of digital noise created a space for reflection, growth, and reconnection. Yet, there was an underlying tension, a recognition that this silence, while enlightening, was transient. The digital world, with all its noise, was poised to return. The question lingered: would the lessons learned in silence persist, or would they be swept away by the returning tide of connectivity? In this global pause, humanity stood on the brink of a potential transformation. The path forward was uncertain, marked by the echoes of silence that had, if only for a moment, opened eyes to a different way of being. As the days of silence continued, the world began to adapt. People found comfort in the simplicity of handwritten letters, reviving a form of communication that had nearly faded into obscurity. Postal services, previously struggling in the digital age, became vital conduits of connection, reminiscent of their role during wartime, when letters were lifelines for separated families. In cities across the globe, the rhythm of life slowed. Public spaces filled with spontaneous gatherings where people shared skills and knowledge, gardening tips, cooking classes, and even impromptu music lessons. These exchanges harkened back to earlier times when communities thrived on shared experiences and collective wisdom. Economists observed a shift in consumer behavior. With online shopping unavailable, local markets and small businesses experienced a resurgence. People began to value quality over quantity, choosing to invest in products that were sustainably made and designed to last. This change mirrored historical periods of economic transition, such as the post-war era, where resource scarcity led to innovation and a focus on durability. Environmental scientists noted the unexpected benefits of reduced digital consumption. Energy usage decreased significantly, leading to a temporary drop in carbon emissions. This highlighted the environmental cost of our digital habits and sparked conversations about sustainable technology use. As the silence drew to a close, a sense of anticipation mixed with trepidation permeated the air. The return to a connected world promised convenience and progress. Yet the lessons of the silent days lingered in the collective consciousness. In this brief interlude, humanity glimpsed the harmony possible when noise subsides, realizing that sometimes the most profound insights arise from stillness.